Yeah, we are recording with Dr. Jessica Rose, and we attempted Rumble Studio. Rumble, I tried. It didn't work. We had feedback, we had latency, completely shit the bed, and it was unacceptable. And Dr. Rose started bullying me off camera and said, "You suck. Everything about you sucks." And I was crying, and she was saying, "Clean yourself up. Don't cry on the show." That if anybody asks, tell them it's allergies. And I said, all right, I'll okay. And so that's where we are now. Dr. Rose she's very abusive. It's a very abusive friendship. I have Stockholm syndrome. That's why I keep inviting her back on, is because I'm scared to upset my captor. But none of that's
Yeah.
true. Dr. Rose is an angel. And yeah, Dr. Rose, I'm gonna post the live link. You introduce yourself and tell everybody what we're gonna talk about.
All right. Thanks for saying I'm an angel. That's pretty sweet. Um, Never been called that before.
Oh, it's a good thing. You should.
But
You're a
yeah.
sweet person.
Oh, thank you. That's really nice. So are you. And horribly intelligent.
Woo.
Um, yeah, no, you are. You're like one of the most high level thinkers that I know.
Thank you.
Um, Anyway, so yeah, I guess people know who I am, but I'm still doing this trying to bring truth to light thing. I guess I'm more of an activist than anything now,
Mhm.
but through science. Yeah, I've got a few degrees under my belt that kind of gives me an opportunity and I suppose a right to talk about stuff like biochemistry and molecular biology and proteins and viruses and stuff. Um, so yeah, I'm still fighting the good fight, still finding a lot of what's being published now, even though it's a confirmation of terrible things that I predicted and a lot of people predicted a while ago, absolutely fascinating because I mean, from a kind of a morbid science nerd point of view, if you have an hypothesis, generated from scientific literature years ago, and then somebody performs an experiment or a series of experiments in a lab that confirms your hypothesis, it's pretty cool in a way. Unless it's like confirming why everyone's getting cancer now.
Yeah, no, it's got to be the same way. It was probably like it's probably bittersweet to see the A bomb work over Hiroshima. Like our thing
Yeah.
worked, and you're like, our thing worked. Like
Yeah.
it kind of in the
Yay.
yeah, and actually, it wouldn't be exaggerating to say, but to a much greater magnitude. I mean, that was 150,000 dead. That's nothing
Yeah.
compared to what we've seen with COVID vaccines. And do you think that there's going to be any? I don't know. It seems like they're strong arming bird flu through. And by the time there's any level of I told you so, or not even I told you so, but just because that implies kind of a childish ego, but rather just like, hey, look, it wasn't hysteria, it wasn't misinformation. X, Y, and Z happened. I mean, I would say probably the most important ones, other than turbo cancer and myocarditis, would probably be like the OBGYNs I have on here, who are talking about like they're seeing one in 200,000 year levels of miscarriages. And by the time any of that, it's like what Tim Dillon always says about the military industrial complex. He's like, you'll talk to someone, you'll be like, listen, our economy is built on war. And people will be like, all right, given. And he's like, that's a big given. Like the
Yeah.
conversation should end there. But instead it's like, all right, given that. But and then they go on to debate Democrat versus Republican. It's like, no, that should end, that should cause silence in the room. Like our economy is based on war, and we're the largest economy on the planet, and we have the largest military on the planet, which means that our largest economy is probably has conflicted interests about operating the largest military, and our export is death. Like that should suck the oxygen out of a room. But instead, people are like, okay, but, and then they go on to discuss like trans rights or something. It's like, no, that should freeze everything. Do you think there's
Yeah.
going to be, is it probably just going to be a repeat of that where it's like, okay, given The data shows that this was probably some form of eugenics or depopulation. That being said, and it's like that should that should halt the conversation in its tracks. Think we're gonna have
Well,
any of that or just move on to the next thing?
I think that like that degree of acknowledgement is probably not high.
Mhm.
Um, but the acknowledgement that people are being harmed by the shots and that they were lied to about pretty much everything they were told as per the reasons they needed to get multiply injected. I think those numbers are really increasing. And I'm hoping, and all I can do is hope at this point, because I can't speak for everyone, is that they're going to see the pattern because the bloody playbook it's already pretty much the same. You know, the warnings or the headlines, like, oh, a person dies from bird flu in Mexico, and it was not true.
Hmm.
Um, well, the premise was not true as to why. Um, it's very interesting, though. I mean, to pivot away from the answer to the question for a sec, that Redfield is
Hmm.
coming out with these videos and admissions, and it's like his last video that I watched was basically saying what I heard was that the H5N1, the human transmissible bird flu, is something that's created. And the likelihood, a lot of people that I know who have expertise in these fields are saying the likelihood of naturally occurring human to human transmission is really, really low. So the natural conclusion from that is if there is, an outbreak of this specific thing, then it was planted. So it's like, I wonder if people will realize that. So it's an interesting thing to think about because I think they really are starting to ramp this up now. I think they're just, it's the election year and they have to create a lot of disasters, and this would be a great one to create and bring in the saviors, the political saviors. And but here's the thing that worries me. Fear is still fear, and
Hmm.
it makes people do really weird things. It screws up your thinking, it clouds your judgment. Um, bird flu. I mean, they've been using it for decades. I mean, it's apparently something that induces fear. Not to me anymore, because
Hmm.
I've learned. But but yeah, it's like predation is powerful, and I guess it's going to be hard to say. We're just going to have to see how it plays out. I mean, simultaneously, there's a lot going on with the whole COVID shot narrative thing. Like there's suing going on.
Hmm.
Kansas, I believe, is suing Pfizer, I believe, for not disclosing true information about potential harms, which seems like something that we've been doing for 4 years. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, so like there are actions being taken. There are inquiries starting. Like Scotland has a COVID-19 inquiry right now, and they're allowing a lot of people who are harmed to testify with their stories. So the awareness is there, and besides that, the awareness is really there because it's really real, and a large proportion of people, it seems, who got injected they're sustaining harm, or they sustained harm, or they died.
Hmm.
I mean, that's not something that can be really suppressed information wise for very long. So you know I'm hoping that those people are dissuaded away from the trickery and future pointless shots.
Yeah. In terms of the fear, so that's something that like yesterday it kind of like I don't know why it boiled over for me. So I like texted like a group chat I'm in and like a couple other friends. I was like, how do you deal with like doom scrolling? I was like, this is just real. It really normally I'm pretty good about like meditation, 8 hours of sleep, working out, like doing all the things in my power to kind of stay resilient. But every once in a while, it just boils over. And it's exactly what you said, is it clouds your judgment. It kind of it makes you not stand on stable ground, and it makes you reactive as opposed to proactive. And kind of the general response I got from the people I texted, which is like all walks of life and all ages, was whether like I think my cousin said, he said 95% of news and 99% of just all consumable media is there to either push a narrative that can be brain dead at best, or at worst, it's nefarious and it's to skew you. It's to
Yeah,
it is a
manipulate.
weapon.
Yeah.
It's not coincidental. It's a
No.
weapon, right? And he was like, I unplugged 2 years ago, and I'm no less informed than I was 2 years ago. He was like, I control what I can control. He's like, it's like I'm a good boyfriend, I'm a good employee, I'm a good
A
boss,
wonderful
and
statement. My
it really
God.
was, yeah. And it that is kind of, and so I was sitting there yesterday, and I meditated for like a little longer than I normally do, and I was just really thinking about that. And it just kind of dawned on me. I was like, if I didn't have this, like this phone, like what would be different?
Be really worse off.
Well, no, I started thinking and I was like, what's really wrong here in Portland, Maine? I like looked outside, just clouds moving over the water. You hear the occasional horn in the distance.
Horrible.
Like the lights just kind of coming through the window. It's like a bird. And even now I'm
Sounds like
looking out
a
and there's like some sunlight glistening off like a metal roof. I can see
nightmare.
the top of a tree. There's two more birds going behind a steeple.
Ugh.
And like it doesn't mean, and then to make sure it wasn't all like hearing things from people that think the way I do, a 33-year-old guy with a biology degree, I also called like a GWA, a Global War on Terror veteran, a lieutenant colonel. Said the same shit. He was like, "What's really going on around you?" Nothing. And he's like, "And if things do go south, you take care of yourself, and if you have a family, your family." These like this,
Wow.
and so I'm just thinking more and more like it did feel better that that's how other people, because like I had to make sure that I wasn't just, because you're never gonna like really truly uh what word am I looking for? You're never gonna truly confront your own biases. If you decide that it's good to not pay attention, your entire brain's like, yeah, let's not pay attention. Like there's no real like criticism of it. So I just made sure to talk to other people, and the general response was like, yeah, man, unplug from it.
Things are okay.
It's really okay. And then if it's not, it's not, and it sounds so simple, but it's like, that's like a
But it kind of
powerful
is.
assessment to really. So, like, I just decided yesterday, I was like, no matter what, like, I'm not getting on Twitter, I'm not getting on nothing. And like within 12 hours, I felt a lot better. And so the point of me saying all of that is like, be aware of that as whatever they're pushing next. The bird flu is coming. Like,
Again.
just, just don't, don't play the game, man. Just be like, hey, this game sucks. I'm going home. I don't want to play with. Just go back to like childhood rules. You guys are gay. I don't want to play with you. I'm taking my ball. I'm going home. And you can't come play with me. Fuck you
And the
guys.
same applies to bullies. Exactly. And I said this to myself today. It's like, what you gotta do with the bullies is what you always have. The best strategy is to ignore them
Yeah.
because they're trying to get a rise out of you. They're trying to get this reaction. They're trying to make you behave in a certain way through manipulation.
Hmm.
And it's just so great what you just said. And I just adore the simplicity because I think it is that simple. And it goes way back to 2020 when a lot of people were like starting to like wonder if something wasn't quite right, in the world, like me. And it's like all I had to do was exactly what you just said. And I think we talked about this. I've said this dozens of times. It's like go outside and look around. What do you see?
Mm,
What's troubling around you? And I'm not going to say there wasn't some troubling shit going on, because there
sure.
was. But that's how you know that something is amiss. So that's also constructive. But like, it's just like what you said. It's like you can get infected, and I do think it's infecting yourself by getting in a torrent of rage or
Mm.
emotion, stress, by what did you call it? Doom scrolling?
Doom scrolling. That's the name for it. Is when you just scrolling through
Oof,
Twitter and war, famine,
it's
outbreak.
exactly what it is. Yeah, yeah. And it's so detrimental to your brain, I'm convinced. Um, as opposed to how you feel when you do that, which doesn't really serve a purpose in your life other than to do just that, to throw you off of your game, in my opinion, because it is just a manipulation or a strategy to make you buy shit or buy into shit. Go participate in life. Talk to actual people. And I, again, just what you said, it's amazing when you have a conversation with people, how it's like, oh, you're thinking the same thing as me. Okay, great. And then you feel more connected. And then, all the things that the globalists hate will
Mm,
happen.
yeah. Yeah, and it's even like I was just thinking last night, like how grateful I was that I was able to like reach out to people that I know and love. And they're all like, "Yeah, man, like don't let it get to you. Like it gets to me too." And it's just like it was such like a simple. Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, this is great. How come like I don't do this more?" And it's like, yeah, that is like one of like is such a core tenet of human civilization, like community. It is
Yeah.
so like it is it's up there with like food and water in terms of
It
foundational
is.
pieces.
You
It's
can
like
have food and water, and if you don't have social connection, you're gonna
y-
go
you're gonna go
off.
insane or kill yourself. And it's like what like yeah, that's like the most basic thing. Like look at any depiction of like cavemen inside of caves. There's always a couple of them. They're at least hanging with their bros. Like, all right, man, like I don't know what this fire thing is, and those woolly mammoths are terrifying, but like at least you got your homies that are like, yeah, no, I'm scared too, man. But like don't doom scroll the cave paintings. Don't be like, oh, saber-toothed tiger, pterodactyl demon. It's like, dude,
Would be
you
like
got
walking miles doom scrolling.
yeah, exactly. It's like let's instead you go outside. And you know what? They were looking at
Oh,
like the
dear. Oh,
exact
oh,
yeah,
oh,
exactly. And it's like they were looking outside at the same trees, at the same things
Stop.
that gave them peace are the same things that are giving me peace. But just you look at the trees and they're just kind of like just shuffling a little bit in the wind, the water's rippling. You like see the stars coming out. Like that is the same things that was giving them peace, the same thing that I'm sure you know, I would imagine somebody in like Renaissance Europe was like, dude, I can't. These priests are saying that it's the end of the world, and that, they're like, I can't, dude. They just lit, some astronomer on fire. They're like, I can't deal with this, man. And like, you go out and just sit by a river, and you're like, oh, there we go. And it really
Or
is
even
like,
better, get into the river.
yeah, yeah, but just kind of unplug. Man, I'm doom scrolling through like the new printing press book, and it's just like, yeah, no, you gotta stop that. You gotta stop that. And it's being plugged in should serve like it should serve a purpose. Like
Educate.
yes, you should use it for like what we're doing right now. You and I are on opposite ends of the world, and it's like we're able to talk.
Yeah,
Or, when I hang out with
exactly.
friends on like my video game stream, like, it's there to like laugh and we're all connected from legitimately multiple continents. And it's like
Mhm.
it should serve you. But as soon as the phone is great. I can call my mom and dad. I text my brothers every day. Like, this is
And
great.
as soon as it enslaves you, you know there's a problem. But you're absolutely right. You have to be able
Yeah.
to recognize the enslavement. And addiction is real. It's
Yes,
an addiction too.
it
It's like,
absolutely is. Oh no, it was like like so many times last night. I would like I do a video game stream at night, and I would like get up to use the restroom, and I'd bring my phone with me, But I told myself yesterday morning, I'm like, I just want to
Four
go.
hours later.
I know, but I was like I literally told myself, yeah, 4 hours later. But like I told myself, I was like, just go the rest of the day without scrolling. Just do one day. And like even like getting up and going to the restroom, I'd pick up my phone and I'd like my muscle memory was like going to Twitter. Like I couldn't go take a piss without just like real quick, let's and like I'd stop and drop it. I'd be like, no, 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 no. Like stop it. Just stop it. And it's like what that's like another curious thing. It's like like yesterday, like the main part of my day was addressing that this is a problem, talking to other people who all agreed it's a problem. Despite addressing and confirming, doing a quick peer review research that it's negative, there was still it's like Frodo in the ring. It was like, just come back. Just scroll.
A little bit.
Just real quick. I just want to. Can I just check out Klaus Schwab's Twitter real quick? Just real quick. Tell me that the globalists are winning. Real quick. Let me see the war in Ukraine. Just and then I keep putting it down, and it's like whisper Tommy.
It's like a moment to moment fight. You have to acknowledge it. It's just like any
It is
addiction,
addiction. It's addiction.
smoking,
It's outright.
drugs,
Yeah. It's
whatever it is. It's like and it's hard. And it's one of the things, you kind of have to accept about being one of these humans, I guess.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a vortex for me when like I don't have any real social media now except for Twitter. And I have to discipline myself a lot
Mm.
with Twitter. And no offense, Elon, good for you, but I feel dirty. I feel toxic when I come off of Twitter most times.
Really.
And oh yeah, I feel like the dark cloud, just like we're talking about, that can form because most of the stuff that I'm ingesting has to do with the wars and people beating each other up and eugenics programs and things that aren't so nice to confront. So it's like it's not lightness that I feel. That's what I'm saying. And it's
Mm.
like I need to, just like what you just said, I need to ensure that I'm ingesting information that's going to result in me doing something constructive. Otherwise, I'm not going to log on. And I have stretches of days, not very often, but where I forget about Twitter, which is one of the best things about my brain and Twitter. I have this weird thing where I can forget it exists and I have
Yeah.
to remind myself, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then on my computer, it's just about clicking a little button, and then that whole world is revealed to me
The
again,
acid
except
trip
all this
opens
new
up.
shit. Yeah,
And
and
it,
it's like, okay, and then it's literally like, meanwhile, it's like 3 hours
yeah.
later. Like, oh
Meanwhile.
shit, I just ruined 3 hours of my day. I could
And,
have written an article, I could have read a journal article,
but
I could have been for a surf, like
no, but then you start looking at it and like, you also have to realize that it's not just coincidental.
no.
This is designed to pull you
Yes.
like, because if we just say it's something that happens, you can kind of beat yourself up. You're like, oh, I misused this tool. I'm an idiot. But what you have to realize is like, like a mouse getting caught in a mouse trap. It might feel stupid and it's telling its mouse buddies. And it's like,
The
okay,
mouse
yeah,
trap catch the
but it's
mouse.
like, hey, don't feel stupid. Like you saw a piece of cheese. We do like cheese. Like, yeah, but then this thing caught me, and it's like, no, that thing is literally manufactured to catch you. The way it's set up, the weight of the bottom, the metal resistance, like it is, and you're like, oh, and it's like you should still avoid it, but don't beat yourself. It's there to catch you, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I have to remind myself is like when you log on, like very quickly, right in your face, easy scroll, notifications. You see faces you see people you follow,
And
and
those
they're
red buttons that are always lighting up.
yeah, and it's like, dude, it's not. it's not just a piece of cheese. It's a bear trap, and it's like right there, except it's very good at being disguised. It's very good
It's the
at,
kind of cheese that you like.
yeah, yeah. And then it's,
Engineered
yes, but then it
based
pulls
on
you.
your responses, your
Yes. Oh,
code.
yeah. No, it is so much more advanced than a mousetrap. It is a mousetrap specifically. It's your favorite color. It's dressed up in your favorite things. Your other mouses that your other mice that you're friends with, they're all kind of have similar mousetraps. And you're like, well, this can't be bad because I follow Dr. Rose and she's also talking about this. And then very quickly, it's like when you're falling asleep, there's that like brief moment where your thoughts kind of start to get a little abstract, before you ever fully fall asleep. Yeah, starts to kind of start to go into like dream world. And if you wake up or something, you be like, oh, whoa, I was just falling asleep. But most of the time, you don't have that consciousness. You start to fall asleep, and then you just kind of wake up the next morning, or you wake up to go to the restroom. You're like, oh wow, I've been out for four. Like, there's never a moment where you're like, and I'm going to sleep. It just kind of, it's a gray fog. That's how it is going, and there's probably some parallels between becoming unconscious. You slip into the Twitter
Yeah.
feed, the Instagram feed. You're like, I'm just gonna post this one thing, and then, like you said, you look up, it's been 3 hours. You're tense.
You
You're
know
like,
what's
shit, the
interesting
world's
too?
on fire, bird
You
flu
just
and
got me thinking of
asteroids.
you just got me thinking about like alter egos. That popped into my head when you said that, and I'm like, how interesting is that? And especially for young people, because being on social media, I'd say I'd say 100% of the time is about portraying a uh a version of yourself.
A
Like
curated
everyone wants
life.
to look, yeah, pretty and smart and active, and people are posting, ah, look at my and it's like there's unless somebody's like saying something hostile for some reason against you, it's like it's not often that you're going to actually be able to say, I'm having a really terrible day, can you cheer me up, using this kind of social media
Mm,
platform. So it's almost like everybody enters under a false impression, which isn't healthy. I mean,
mm,
yeah, that's really interesting to think about. And the pressure on young people to kind of live up to some imaginary standard, like with other kinds of social media platforms. Like I'm not on Instagram or anything, but I think it's more about photos and
hmm.
appearances, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like yeah, it can be very unhealthy. And again, you're right, it's about awareness, but I do often think like, how the hell are kids doing it? Like how are they resisting, because I'm older and you're older, and we can kind of, use the experience of our lives and our maturity to train ourselves to be disciplined enough not to say
mm,
no to that bad thing that we know that we're addicted to.
mm.
What about kids? I mean, do they, how are they doing it? I mean,
I don't think they are. I think Facebook came around when I was a freshman in high school. But even then, it was still so rudimentary that by the time it was like fully fledged, even then there was like enough of, it was probably in like my late teens, early 20s. There's still enough of like yeah, I'm not putting that on Facebook, or I'm not getting, I don't think it's good for you. There was still like a hint of it. And now it's so in your face that it's very easy to just be like, yeah, don't touch it. It's so clearly a mousetrap. But like, what if that's just what you grew up with?
yeah.
What if that's just the reality, That's, I'd say there's probably one of like two primary options, and it's you either fully give into it, or there will be like a radical rejection where they will reject it more than you and I do because it's all they've known. It's like the hippies coming about 20 years after World War II, like the greatest generation, the guy in the sailor uniform kissing the nurse, and we fought Hitler, to within 20 years, it was Volkswagen buses, hair down your ass, dropping acid, seeing Jimi Hendrix play. Like, they pushed back harder than any of us ever did. And it's because They
Yeah.
came from such a radical, the war effort, Uncle Sam, we're gonna do the right thing to,
What a hopeful thought.
yeah. So like you and I might right now, we're like, yeah, we reject it more than these kids for now. There might be a point where they come about and they won't even use Zoom or something. It might be like a Luddite radical, like we don't even listen to podcasts,
How
like,
interesting. Wow.
which is kind of
And it's in
hardcore.
their nature.
Yeah, like what if they're just like, no, if
Wow.
it's not within my eye shot or eyesight and earshot, I don't even bring it in. And you and I will look like social media addicted people. And like I don't know if they're wrong. Like it's almost like, yeah, dude, if it's not here and now, I don't even want to check in on it. I don't know.
I love that thought though. I never went that far in my thinking of it. And that's very hopeful. And it kind of it's in alignment with what we humans do as a species. Like we're kind of belligerent and like rebellious in our nature.
Yeah.
Nature. So it's like what do they call that? Counterculture? Is
Counterculture,
that
I think that's probably the right term.
okay? So yeah, it's like eventually whomever is pushing some shit on us, there's always going to be groups forming to like counter that. I mean, like if they ban alcohol, there's going
Yeah.
to be like small groups forming to make sure people can get alcohol. You better bet
Yeah.
your bottom.
Yeah. I mean, Al
So it's
Capone.
weird. Yeah.
Think about how well, I mean, it's been 100 years and we still know Al Capone.
Yeah,
Why did he
exactly.
why did he come about? Because people were like, you can't drink. And he was like, the fuck you can't.
Fuck
Like,
you again.
right? He was like the most powerful mobster in history. What was he dealing? Beer. Like
You have to have a digital identity. The hell we
that
do.
exactly. It is there, it might go so hard. And it you wouldn't know it right now, right? Because we would look at like TikTok and VR, but we're probably coming up on like an uncanny valley kind of precipice, like an asymptotic curve where it's just like it's gonna flip and break completely. And
Love it.
yeah, no, it might be that. And I wonder what like the inflection point would be. It I don't know. I don't know how, but I think it's somehow going to be related to like the bill they just passed about like the draft. It's gonna,
Ah, yeah. Tell me about that because I saw some things on Twitter.
yeah, no,
Um,
I don't know enough about it, but it's so like when you turn 18 in the United States, between 18 and 26, you have to sign up for the selective service, which is the draft. And I'm pretty sure if you don't,
women, yeah,
what?
men and women.
I think just men, because it happened when I was 18, and I remember I didn't sign up for it, but it's pretty much like if you don't sign up for it, we're gonna sign you up anyway. So it's kind of like there was really no point to it.
You
And so
have a choice, but you don't.
no, there's no choice. It's like sign up for it or we'll sign you up. Or it's like we'll
Yeah.
put you on a list of people who need to be signed up. It's like so I gotta be honest, I don't entirely know what the bill is that they just passed. It doesn't sound like it's actually anything new. Maybe it's just the very fact they're talking about it is bad news.
I think it did include women. Unless
It
I missed
might.
my guess.
If it's including women, then we are very clearly going to war. But
Yeah.
my point is like there are primary issues between, Republicans and Democrats, and a lot of them are seen as a broad generalization. A lot of them are seen as luxury issues, pro-choice, pro-life, or pro-gay marriage or anti-gay marriage, or pro weapons or anti-weapons. Those are kind of like the broadest issues, right? But for the most part, it's always been, in my understanding, that the real core issues, like, the fact that you have like access to food, water, and electricity, are never really touched on because those are a given. What's been so odd about the last couple of years is with inflation, with, shutting down domestic drilling, people are getting to a point now where they're like, these aren't luxury issues. Now it really is like, who's going to make groceries cheaper? But even that, for the most part, it
Affordable.
yeah, but even if it's not affordable, most people still are able to access. You don't have as much leftover money, but you're still not going hungry. It's still so even that is like, well, I'm voting for Trump because I just want less okay, but it's still out there. And when I say out there, I mean it's still
No,
like
I know.
it's a thing that you just see on the news or Twitter or but it's still not kind of like I can still close it all out, go to my refrigerator, heat up some chicken and have a glass of water, right? You're still able to unplug. My point of saying all of this is with with the draft, with the Ukraine war, they're giving 100 billion to Ukraine, but it's still you can then you exit out of it and just go about your life. With a draft, it is now coming out of like your phone screen. It is now coming out of the ephemera and it is now coming to your door and saying like you're gonna go be deployed in Taiwan. And now all of a
Mm.
sudden it's not pro-choice, pro-life. Gays get married, they don't. Trannies can adopt kids or they can, or lettuce costs twice as much as it did 5 years ago. It's now moving from that to like it's coming, putting its hand on your chest and saying, you leave everything. You're now coming here, you're getting on this bus, you're going to boot camp, or shaving your head, you're learning how to shoot. It's this crazy, like you're sobering up. And you're like, wait, what? Now it's been in hindsight, as will always will be, you can see it all clearly in 100 years to look back and be like, this was the point where it all changed. But it's moving from just Trump, Biden, me, blah, 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 to all of a sudden you're gonna have a lot of people who it's like, hey man, I'm gonna have to go to my local boot camp and learn how to throw a grenade. What the fuck is going on? We're at a point where the acid trip is becoming real. Like, you're too high, and then all of a sudden you're like, I remember one time me and my buddy were in college. When we had ate pot brownies, and we were sitting on the front porch, and like
Mhm.
a storm
I
was
never
coming
took
in.
up piano liquidators, by the way.
What? Oh yeah, piano liquidators. No. This wasn't that, but same idea. But we're sitting out there, and a storm was coming in, and like the wind was picking up, and then lightning struck this tree, and a tree fell on a power line, and it blew up and like lit on fire onto the road.
Whoa,
And this is like 200 feet from us, and we were staring at it, and I was like, "Did
it
that
just
really?"
happened.
I'm like, "Did that just happen?" He was like, "I think so," and I was like, "Someone should call the cops." And then we were both kind of quiet. He was like, "Wait, do we have to call the cops?" It was this moment of like, someone does call the police when something happens, and they're the first person to see. And we were like, "Do we have to do that?" But it was Georgia, and it was 2013. I was like, dude, I can't talk to a cop right now. And he was like, me neither, man. But there was this moment where all of a sudden it sucked the oxygen out of the air. I was like, did that just happen? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, there's a flaming tree branch on the road and with the power line that was like sparking. And it was like all of a sudden just like the cold water in the face. It was like, oh fuck! Hey, we need to do something. I just it pulled us right out of the just like we're just listening to music, just watching a storm rolling in, just toasted off our ass, and all of a sudden it was real. It's like the cop
And
knocking on the door. Hey man, or in high school, it's like us drinking and like 2 in the morning, and all of a sudden we see like the kitchen light come on and like their dad's coming down. It's everyone sits up straight and just acts so like that's what the
overcompensate.
exactly. No, how are you doing, sir? As your eyes are like
Hello,
rolling in.
sir.
How are you?
We've been sitting here.
We've been
Not
sitting playing video games, and like, of course, one friend's too fucked up, and you're like trying to sit him up straight, and it's like burping on himself or something, or it's like clearly just reeks of pot down there. And there's no, you're done. There's no like saving it. That's kind of what this is. It's like it's just this weird fog that's just kind of yeah, left, right. But really, I mean, my entire life, if you had taken away my phone at any point in the last 20 years, my life would still kind of play out the same way. I would go to the same schools, do the same things. We're reaching a moment now where it's not the same as just, hey, put the phone down, man. I just don't want to check. I just don't want to pay attention to this stuff anymore. It's like the recruiters coming to your door, and it's like you're gonna go serve your country, and it's like, what? That I think is going to be the point where the radical rejection begins, to where it's like, I don't use Twitter, I don't listen to like I don't even, I reject your entire reality. Like, we have a community out in the mountains. We don't even pay attention. I don't fucking want to hear about the weather in your state. I don't want to hear about anything. I don't want to see your memes. I don't I don't get on Zoom. I don't want to I don't even associate with people who have Instagram. Like, that's what I think it's going to be, is you're going to have it's going to be like, you and I are doing like a soft rejection of it. I think there's going to be like a, like, violent, radical, almost fanatic rejection of it. Of like, it, like, the machine came to you. It's no longer just fear
Are
porn.
you
It's like,
being literal when you say that you think that the the inflection point is going to be getting drafted for an
I think
actual?
physically having to go, yeah, no, I think so. I
Wow.
think
And how
physic
far off do you think we are from that?
I don't I have no idea.
Like within a year, more or less?
Oh,
Any thoughts?
it might be 2 weeks. It might, in 10 years, we might be looking back at this show and being like, man, that this podcast was so incorrect. I don't know. But if it happens, that will be the point where people just go, no, no, no. I'm not
I
fucking,
agree with you.
yeah. That's what I think it will be. I don't know how it will play out, but, or sorry, I don't know when it will play out, but I'm pretty certain you will have people who are Republican and Democrat immediately drop every other disagreement,
Yeah.
be like, hey, man, you know what, you want to, you want to transition, or you're gay, or that's cool, man. I think we both agree that we
Yeah,
don't want
because
to
the
go
lightning
walk in
bolt
the,
just came down for all of us.
we're
So
all too high now, and it's like, you know what, man, hey, you're gay, or I want to do this, that's cool, man. But we both agree that we're not going to go lock and load and go die in Taiwan. Like, no, 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 no.
hmm.
You can't, like, I don't think you can pull it off anymore. I mean, Terrence McKenna said it. He was like, culture is not your friend. He's like, because Terrence McKenna grew up in the 60s and 70s, he was like, culture is not your friend, because your friend doesn't put you in an army uniform, sends you to Southeast Asia to go die in Vietnam, killing people you don't know. Like, the lightning strike's coming, and it's no longer, we're just too high. It's like, no, that's very real. The road is
Yeah.
on fire. We have to leave. And that, it's
We have to
what?
leave together.
Yeah, exactly. We have to leave together, and we all have to stop, arguing about what show we're gonna watch. We can do that later. Like, they're trying to go send us to go die in Ukraine. And all of a sudden it moves from memes of like, these politicians are so disconnected. It's still just all kind of, Nancy Pelosi does insider trading, and Chuck Schumer's a
Yeah.
whatever, and Donald Trump is, it's like, it's moving from memes to, you're like, hold
Hardcore
on.
reality.
You're like, none of them are going to fight in against China. Wait, why am I being sent over to Kyiv?
Yeah.
No, wait, hold on. Because right now it's still, even myself, I'm guilty of it. I'm like, they're giving our money for another, war, just to make, politicians rich. And then it's all right. And then I, turn it off and do something else. It's coming out of the screen to grab you by the collar, and it's throwing you on a bus to go to boot camp. I
Yeah,
think
like that
that's,
creepy little girl from The Ring. She's gonna pull
yeah,
you. Well, man.
yeah, that's what I think it is. So I don't really know what the point of that entire rant was, but
Well, it ties into everything because well, actually, it also ties into something we haven't mentioned yet, which is the acknowledgement of the so-called infighting. This is also a big deal. A lot of people are like plans to break up like groups that are fighting back and et cetera, et cetera. And it's like my approach on it is I try also to be more philosophical about it and disciplined, because it's like, listen, I don't give a crap if you don't believe in viruses. We still have the same like ultimate goal. We don't want children to be injected with poison so a pharmaceutical company can profit. That's not the right thing to do. So it's like it's banding together for like the lightning bolt reason. It's like, listen, we're all in trouble, and you have to start looking at those people that you're like nitpicking as your allies, or you're gonna go down.
Hmm.
It's the same thing. It's like we are gonna, you're right, we're gonna reach this moment when it's just gonna be like that lightning bolt moment itself. It's almost gonna be like that bifurcation and change of steady state. Like it's just gonna
Hmm.
happen. Everything's gonna change because it has to. It's like we're gonna reach that boiling point, and it's gonna be like a communal thing.
Hmm.
Um, we don't necessarily even need to be seeing on some screen what's happening around the world. I believe that we can feel it. You can feel, the resonance. I don't know if it's the butterfly effect or whatever, but you can feel what's going on if you're remotely tapped into it. Maybe some people would disagree with that, but I think if there's trouble, big trouble in the world, you feel it, and it kind of instinctively puts you in a fight mode,
Hmm.
or a flight mode. Anyway, yeah, it's a really important thing to talk about, because I mean, like you and I both don't really know the details of this drafting shit, but I also saw something pertaining to Canada on this subject matter, and we don't have mandatory drafting. Like it's always with the military in Canada, you volunteer, or you go and you get college tuition paid, or I don't know how it works, but we've never had a draft. So it's like I think, and I might be wrong about this, don't quote me, but I think I saw something about Trudeau doing something. It did pertain to Ukraine with Canadians in the context of soldiery. So if anyone knows anything about that, man, like, or if you're interested, go look it up, and yeah, start talking about it, because I think you're absolutely right. The inflection point's going to be when the young people just say, "Hell no, I'm not doing that." It's going
Hmm.
to be the moment when it's like, um, you just, even though you don't want to move because you're kind of like satiated and comfortable in your state, it's like that's going to push you, and you have to move now because you're off your chair type thing. It's like, oh shit, okay, so now I have to get up and do something.
Yeah.
Um, And I think the decision will be like, not, like you said, not to go die in a foreign country for whatever reason.
Yeah. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad, I mean, ideally we wouldn't be in this situation at all, but I always say I have a lot of problems with, the reality we find ourselves in. Resource scarcity, killing each other, sunburns. Like, there's a lot of things I don't like that are not even worth addressing because of
Sunburn?
really, you might be surprised, but my reflective Irish skin doesn't do well in the sun.
Oh,
Mosquito
wow.
bites, whatever. There's a lot of general problems I have with reality, whatever. I think that this is a probably not a bad thing that this is happening. It almost seems like it needed to happen, right?
Yeah.
When you have the wake up call, right? The wake up call is good, whether it's you're drinking too much or you gaining weight and you don't fit into old pants. Like it's never fun, but it's a moment of you go, okay, this is no longer. I gotta deal with that. I gotta deal with that. I gotta deal with that. All of a sudden, it's like your power goes off, and you're like, I should probably pay that bill. Right? It's like it becomes very real. And it's again, ideally we wouldn't be in this situation, but we are. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's probably the only thing that is going to actually result in some sort of because you could always make the argument, you're like, guys, we're not that different. We just have some different opinions. People are like, shut up, libtard, or shut up, you conservatard. And it's like, I don't, you got to have something unifying. And it's like, hey, man, they're trying to send us over there to die in a trench. I'm not doing this. And you're gonna have someone who looks totally different from you being like, no, no, I'm with you. I don't like that guy and he doesn't like me, but neither of us ever try to get the other to go kill people. Right? It's a respectable disagreement. They call me a tranny, I call them a Nazi, but we leave each other alone. No one is not once have either of us ever given the other a rifle and been like, go get on a plane and fly for 19 hours and kill people that don't speak the same language of you. It's a point that probably needs to happen. And it's scary and it's not great, but
Do you think the warmongers anticipate this kind of thing? Like,
I
do
would
you, because
imagine
they're
they've war gamed every aspect of
right?
this and after this, which is why we probably need to talk about it. So you counter war game and you go, well, what are they gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah,
So what would
that's
they so
what to.
yeah, so in on that note, like that they've planned for this, so they're gonna try to make it seem real, either through a false flag attack on their own soil. So how would you overcome this? How would you overcome people being like, hey, I don't want to go fight that war? You do a false flag attack. False flags, it's an appeal to emotion and an appeal to nationality. So I would imagine that, that might be the entire absence of a southern border. Probably have a lot of, foreign operatives here that are gonna set off a bomb or a series of bombs or hijack a plane, and it's
To
gonna
get people nice and riled up.
they're
So,
gonna
I
try to.
gotta go fight for my country. Yeah, you're
So
right.
when you have people like you and I talking and being like, "Hey, man, maybe we should agree on not doing this," they're going to try to overpower that with their own emotional response and be like, no, America's under attack. You got to shut up. And imagine like on September 12th, 2001, being like, are you sure they're trying to rile us up or not? People will be like, shut up, pussy. Like the Twin Towers just came down. And they're not even wrong. It's a very emotional appeal. That's what they're going to try to do. So they're going to try to override our own logic with like, hey man, I don't agree with everything Chuck Schumer says, but you know, they bombed the retirement home where my grandma's living. And like, yeah, that's the point. They're trying to suck you in. So to counter that, to counter their counter, I think you just have to I think the only way is to unplug entirely. That might come
Yeah,
back to the radical rejection of being like, I
yeah,
don't you're gonna have to have people that go, "Hey, I'm very sorry that a nuke went off in San Francisco. I'm not doing it, dude. I'm not doing the thing. These politicians
not
hate
playing
me."
the war game effectively.
Yeah, yeah, no, don't play the yeah. It's gonna be the movie War Games, right? The only what a curious game. Like the only winning move is not to play, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what it's gonna be. They're gonna be like, America's under attack. They might have ruined that like dopamine response though. You might have people be like,
yeah.
you know what, man, you pushed a vaccine on us. You said white men are evil. You don't enforce rules anymore. People loot
Said men can have babies.
exact and you know what, man? I no longer identify as an American. Instead, I identify as someone that lives in New England. I've never seen anyone in San Francisco. You might have people start to get to the point where they view things that are outside of their eyesight, outside of their horizon. You might go Ukraine or Chicago. They're both not here. I think we might be jumping back like 10,000 years in terms of like community structure. Be like, no, no, no. I'm not doing the empire thing. Like I look to the left and look to the right. I can see a couple miles that way, couple miles that way. There's my mom and dad and brother. I don't care whether it's in Congo or whether it's in Detroit.
Can I address this
Yeah,
because
yeah. I've been
this
talking
is
nonstop. Take it away. Yeah.
no, this is fantastic because what the human brain will do is start to make the self feel guilty because that's
Hmm.
what we're trying to do. We they're not trying to make us feel bad about people dying in wars. They're trying to make us feel guilty to to manipulate our behaviors. What you just said is so poignant. And I want to add to it and say there's nothing to feel guilty about by caring for that 2 mile circumference of shit that is your world. If everybody did that, maybe that would look like what it was 10,000 years ago. I mean, but it sounds nice to me, man.
Yeah.
It sounds peaceful to me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's, I love this idea, but I think people are going to need to confront that built-in guilt thing and say, go fuck that yourself. I'm not going to feel guilty for taking care of myself and this small area around me and my immediate family and friends and community. Nope, this is exactly what I should be doing. I don't
Mm.
have to feel guilty, not to say it's not horrific
Sure.
about destructive shit going on over here. My duty to this and my immediate community and all the animals and the land inside it is to care and protect this.
Yeah.
It's so important that people like, wow,
And
yeah,
then,
that's a beautiful thing you just planted in my head. That's
but th
gonna like,
but then when you think about that, and as you start to digest what you just said, you go, how weird is that? That I have to defend the viewpoint of I, Tommy, should be concerned about Tommy, my mom and dad, my brother, and like the people I've met in my apartment building who I see at the gym on the first floor who are kind of cool. How weird is that? This is the analogy I use is like in terms of it started with explaining why I didn't get the vax, and then it led to explaining like why I own a gun. And with it's like, well, I don't want to get this. I'm in a healthy age group, and then it kind of slowly evolved into, how about the answer is I don't want the vax, and you don't get any explanation. It started
yeah,
with like, well, I own a gun, home
I have to
defense,
justify.
and yeah, and
Yeah.
it's fun to go shooting at cans. To now, it's like, why do you own a gun? And it's like because I do. Fuck off. And just the end. That's the end. And the
Yeah,
analogy I
yeah,
use is this: is I'm 33 years old. I'm 220 pounds of muscle. If I go up to a girl at the bar and go, "Can I buy you a drink?" and she says no, what do you think would happen if I said, "Why not?" I would
yeah.
get thrown out of the bar.
Welcome to my world.
She would rightfully probably call the
Just fuck
police.
off.
Yeah, imagine if I said, "Why not?" and just stared at her. She would rightfully go to a bouncer who's 100 pounds more than me and a foot taller than me, who would throw me out onto the street like the creep I was. Apply that, and and again, there's built-in guilt, but you do have to start going, wait, well, I'm only concerned about my 2 mile radius, because, my own mental health. And I watch the news and Twitter kind of really, and you slowly start to build some confidence and you go, no, I'm only concerned about my immediate surroundings. So someone goes, why? You go, fuck right off. That's why.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell them that
That's
because you want inner peace, and you don't have to give them a 90-minute explanation like you and I are right now. I'd be like, well, it started with Twitter and mousetraps. No, 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 no. If someone comes to your front door and goes, how can we not open it at 2 in the morning? What are you doing? You don't say anything. You fire through the door a couple times. Like, that's why. And I think that's the other thing is it moves from like this tiptoeing, I should really only care about my immediate surroundings, to you kind of start to stand up straight a little more and you're like,
yeah.
yeah,
I should care
yeah, I
about my
should. And fuck off. That's why. Fuck right off. Why'd
And
you
you'll either
marry? Yeah.
get it or you won't
Yeah.
if you already don't. And it's like, but this is the evolution, man, because it's like it's actually the evolution away from this what would you even call it? The passing wound that is our addiction to being liked and perceived a certain way and groomed to want to be materialistic and all of this shit. It's like people really need to like and like really take some time to think about what they actually want and how they're actually going to serve their themselves and be valuable in the world and to the immediate people around them. It's like nobody gives a fuck if you have an SUV. I'm sorry. Like I'm going a bit, extreme,
I
but
don't
it's
care.
like, yeah, it's yeah, unplugging is such a huge part of this. It's like what's a good analogy? It's like if you're a heroin addict, I suppose, and somebody like doesn't let you have access to needles and you still have the heroin. It's like you won't be able to get it into your veins. So it's
Hmm.
like that's kind of like what it is. It's like you're still going to be an addict. You're going to
Hmm.
forever be an addict, but you won't be able to do it. And then you'll have all the immediate physical, mental, emotional repercussions, which will probably be horribly painful in the beginning, I
In the
suppose.
in the
But then
beginning, but ultimately freeing.
yes, and liberating, even more powerful, and then you'll be able to affect your your individual creativeness on the world, which will make the world a better place. Not to sound too like
No.
flowery, but that's who we are. That's what we do. That's why we're here. We're not here to be slaves. We're
Hmm.
not here to buy shit. We're not here to be liked. It's like, no, these are, you know, those are things that I think that we are being groomed and manipulated into believing. And
Hmm.
it does take, I suppose, takes us, I don't know what it takes to see it, but I just have no doubt in my mind that you're right about this younger generation actually being the ones to finally say hell's no. And maybe you're right. Maybe it'll be a total rejection,
Well,
like a radical rejection of all this shit.
I, I, I think that it has to be like the power line falling. Unfortunately, I don't see how it goes any other way. Like you do have to like every once in a while I would take like a week or a month off from drinking or smoking pot or something. And like last fall or last summer, I ended up going on like gabapentin for generalized anxiety. And then like in around like December, I tried to start weaning off of it and I couldn't. I was having panic attacks and it was like
Wow.
well, I then so I started to kind of like reverse engineer. I was like, why was I drinking like every Friday? And I was so stressed out, and especially doing these podcasts where it wasn't just like it was like Twitter to the next level. It was like not just doom scrolling. I'm talking to people in these places, and the world's fucked. And like I was so wound up at the end of the week, I would just get shit faced. And I think for me, it was always like, wow, this is what I did in college, so it's like what I do now, and it was just like a momentum thing. But starting to realize, like, no, 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 you're using it as like medication. So actually going on medication and it helped for anxiety, but I still never addressed like the root, like do I have anxiety? I tried going off of it in January and had like the worst panic attack of my life. I ended up checking myself into like the second week of January this year into a psych ward, like voluntarily for 10
Wow.
days, where they monitored you, I think every 15 minutes, like somebody came and like literally like you met with a doctor every day. They took your phone. I think I was the only person there that went there like voluntarily. I think everyone else like it was like court ordered, and I'm there like checking in, like, hey, you doing, everybody? And like, but the reason I'm like so open about talking, I don't say like, oh well, I had to go see a doctor. No, like I went to a psych ward. It's a humbling thing to say, but also you have to have sort of that where like you're being I mean, like every 15 minutes, somebody literally like 15 minutes a day, 24 hours a day for 10 days, they come in and like they get eyes on you, whether you're sleeping, whether you're eating. I mean, if you're in the shower, they'll come like someone will be like, hey, Tommy, and you're like, hey, and they're like, hold your hand up, and you're like, I'm right here. And it's like they make sure there's no, it's like suicide proof. Like there's no, it's almost like jail, like there's no sharp object. For me, I was like, I don't really have these problems. Maybe I shouldn't be here. But no, ultimately I needed to be there. And I came out of that and I was like, wow, like I weaned off gabapentin and did it under like medical supervision. And I came back and I was like, I shouldn't. I came home and I realized I still had like a bottle in like my cabinet. I didn't even realize. I came home and like the first thing I took it and just flushed it. And was like, nope, nope, fuck that. And like within like 2 weeks, right? You immediately, once you get home, you like, get out of like your scrubs, start doing the podcast again. It was like Friday. I was like, oh, I'm fine. I just won't get as drunk. And then I was like, hey man, you checked into a psych ward. And I was like, I'm not gonna get drunk this weekend. And then it led to another weekend. I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
drank since last year because I was like, you know what, man? Bad hangovers are one thing, or sending a drunk text is another thing. I was like, I would have to tell myself, I'd be like, you checked into a fucking psych ward where you weren't allowed to have a pencil because you might harm yourself or others. And I'm like, that gave me pause. And I was like, that was a moment. That was a moment where that was like my draft. It came out of like the I should probably drink a little less to like no 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 no. You were in like a blue shirt and blue pants with little grippy socks, and like somebody was like checking on you daily, like they take your vitals, and I'm like, that ain't something that just happens. That was a rock bottom moment. And
well, everyone
although
has
it's
their own way to pivot, and it's extraordinary what you did, and the fact that you did it by yourself is even more extraordinary because, like you said, most people have to be like put there.
yeah,
So it's exceptional though because every single human being has something. Everybody has an addiction to something, and it's some's more powerful than others.
sure.
Some are more destructive than others, but it's like you're right. It takes some pivotal moment, and it's all about breaking habits. That's why change is good sometimes. It's like change of environment, sometimes change of friends you need, change of city, whatever. Like you need to break that habit, and it's not easy to do by yourself, man. So
Thank you. But so like that to me was and it painful at first, but now I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, no, like I've learned to cope with it. So now when I'm anxious, I'm like, well, why are you anxious? And now it's like instead of well, I'll just get shit faced, now it's like, well, let's address it. Maybe you shouldn't be on social media. And then it's like these higher order, like secondary,
yes,
tertiary, quaternary things. It's like, well,
pick it
maybe I
up
should.
and sit down.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like maybe now it's like, well, I should start thinking about actual like, you start thinking on these like meta scales of like, well, maybe human civilization isn't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe I shouldn't be worried about what's happening somewhere. And it's like none of this would happen if I could have just been like, yeah, fuck it, I'll drink to that. Now it's like, no, 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 let's address it because if I don't, the anxiety will continue. And it's like, maybe I shouldn't be on this all day. Maybe it's not normal to have a constant feed of news at the speed of light from all over the planet, when in
Of course, it's
reality, for the vast majority of evolution, from us to proto hominids to Neanderthals to whatever, most of the time was spent just like looking at clouds kind of moving over a field. And it's like, you have to address it. So the point is like, it's
that's like
bad.
one of the best things in life, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's just
Lying down on
looking at,
the beach, like when you're camping and looking up at the sky at the night, and
just like
it's
like little legitimately like I'm moving into a different unit in this apartment building and it has a big outdoor deck. I've just gone and like sat up there and like done no moving where I'm just like staring out and I'm like, oh, this is nice. And like,
bring a notepad the next time, because man, I get some great thoughts
yeah.
when I get
Oh
that,
yeah,
like
no, I'm gonna yeah, it's gonna be I've been thinking about like I might put like a camera out there. I might start doing like the podcast from there. I don't know. But like but
like that.
You kind of have to have that moment of negativity and pain. And so, like, whatever that psych ward moment is for people, maybe it's the draft, maybe it's maybe you like literally cannot afford groceries anymore. It's bad, but even now, just 6 months later, I wouldn't change it for the world because it's changed so much in a better in a it's changed my life for the better in such an undeniable foundational way that I'm like, yeah, no, that was that was kind of a shitty 10 days. That was a rock bottom. But man, like everything's better. Like
Yeah.
everything is better. Like financially, spiritually, mentally, sleep, working out, podcast growth. It is all like across the board. It's better. Like if I had a stock ticker for my own name, it would be like, yeah, no, we are experiencing, record growth.
Yeah, yeah, and that's life. I mean, it's coming into who you are, whatever that means. I mean,
Yeah,
whomever we're all supposed to be as individuals, but it's like we all kind of know like what those things are that are holding us back, and it's
yeah,
just like you said, it's like it's you know, it's hard to motivate yourself to like get out of a comfort zone because that's really what it is. And I mean, contentment it's okay. It's like
sure.
things aren't great, but they're not bad. So why would I risk losing the not bad part? Because if I do this, everything might like get worse. And it's like, but
Yeah,
things might get to a next level type of thing. So it's like, yeah, this all ties into fear too. Like you're reminding me of when I had a conversation years ago with someone about fear and facing fear. Um, everyone has their own weird fears. Uh, and I did this thought experiment, which was kind of tied to reality because um I kind of have a fear of cold, dark water.
oh, so do
I
I.
don't.
No, every once in a
Yeah,
while I'll take a cold shower and it scares the shit out of me. I feel like I'm like jumped off the Titanic. I like it a
yeah,
lot.
that kind of cold, dark water. Like I,
Yeah.
I have a bit of a fear of that or anxiety. So I'm like, all right, why don't you look at that? Like try and move past things that kind of link to that, like being under the water a little bit longer than your lungs feel comfortable. Like just put yourself through that challenge. Like let's see what we can do to move your brain past the ring of fear that kind of has a barrier to the other side of fear, which is not being afraid anymore, I suppose. So it's like it kind of worked. And if nothing else, it kind of helped me visualize like, okay, I'll have to talk about the tool video now. So, oh crap, is it lateralis or parabola? It doesn't, well, it does matter. It's very important, but for the sake of not getting the name of the song wrong, there's this amazing Tool video to one of their best songs ever. It's either Parabola or Lateralis, and it's the Alex Gray imagery. You know Alex
Hmm.
Gray, yeah. So it's the duplication and the geometric figures and the forever lost. And if and when I ever did hallucinogens, I have that happen to my brain, like the geometric repetitions, and it can be a little bit intimidating because you
Sure.
can get lost in the repetition. And there's a beginning and an end to everything, but this is kind of like being trapped in the middle and feeling like there is no end. So it's
Uh-huh.
like this video for years and years and years for me kind of scared. It made me kind of anxious because as beautiful as it was, as rockin' as the music was, this little sperm guy, this little weird figure was trapped in this world that I could kind of relate to from experiences from my youth.
Mm.
And I was like, it it ties into like any thought I've ever had about what the nature of infinity is and existence itself and all this stuff, these really, really fundamental things. And then one day, it was shortly after I did this like fear, moving beyond fear thought experiment. I noticed something that was always there in this video that I never fucking saw before. And that's that the little sperm guy gets out. I never saw it before. It's like my
Hmm.
brain, my perceptive whatevers weren't letting me see because I was holding on to some
Yeah.
anxiety related to the imagery that there's an out for the little guy. And after he gets out, this whole new thing happens and I think the world blows up, but I mean that doesn't necessarily have to be the outcome.
Yeah. But
But you know, explosions can be cathartic, they are, and that can also lead to growth. So it that was a lot of kind of abstract personal rambling,
no, no,
but
no,
yeah,
no.
I mean,
It's perfect.
oh
It
good. Well,
it's the fear. It's the fear of the thing, and then you finally go and sit with it,
yeah,
and you see like,
for what it
oh,
is, which
oh,
is
it does. It ends. And it's like
yeah.
there is an out. There's a finish line. There's a catharsis. It's like when you're really sick and you're really nauseous and you finally throw up, and then you like feel better. You go and like lay down, like put an ice pack on your head. You're like, oh my God, I just want to go to sleep. Sleep now. It's the worst feeling ever leading up to it. Nausea is like the worst feeling.
Yeah.
But when you get through it and you get through it through like the worst possible thing, if you had never thrown up before, you'd be like, that's not what I want. I feel nauseous. The last thing like my stomach is like turning inside out, and I'm like The
And wants to
Exorcist.
expect things
And
in
you're
a
like, no, this
style.
is if you had never heard about vomiting before, if you had never seen it, you'd be like, what just happened? But you'd be like, I feel better. But it's the last thing you want. Like, I'm nauseous. So go do the thing that makes you feel more nauseous. Go like lean over a toilet and like cough and burp. And you're like, no, I don't want to do that. It's it's like walking towards it's like what that like Buddhist quote about like how do you're in a fire, how do you escape the fire? And you walk to the center because then everything else is less hot. And it's like you walk into and it's the last thing you want to do. You're like, no, I'm trying to escape the fire. I don't want to go further in. And it's like go further in because then
Wow.
by definition everything else is less. And then any direction is escaping. And it's like, oh,
Oh,
yeah. So it's like throwing up. What do you do? Go be more nauseous. Go put your finger in your mouth and make it worse. You'd be like, what are you talking about? No. And it's like, trust me, you're going to experience violent catharsis. And that's kind of what it is. It's like, so what are I guess for me, like to wrap it all up would be like my fear yesterday. I'd be like, but do I just unplug from it? Like, I feel like if I unplug from it, like, yeah, I'm guilty and I'm uninformed. And it's like, no, no, no. Go through the guilt. You just throw it all out.
see
What?
it for what it is too. And you'll, I think most people will realize that it's not your guilt, it's imposed guilt. And it might not
Mhm.
even be real.
No, it's not real at all. It's like doesn't make you less human. Doesn't mean that war isn't tragic. But what it does
Yep.
mean is like that's not on your balance sheet, man. You're allowed to be like, I'm not doing it. And it's the great thing is too is like you can check out, and then like the manner of checking out also terminates dealing with checking out. And by that I mean is like if you were on Twitter and saying all of this, you might have people on Twitter saying like, no, like you have to stay informed, you have to be plugged in. By going, I don't want any of this. The people who are trying to tell you like, no, you shouldn't be unplugged, you have also now unplugged from them.
Yeah.
So you're like, you're just kind of sitting there, and you're like, oh, it really is like the allegory of the cave. It's like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
just leave. But everyone in the cave says I should stay. Well, they're also in the cave, so just
Or
fucking
not
leave.
you though.
But if I leave the cave, then I don't see the shadows and I don't see my buddies. You're like, yeah, just go away. And then the cool thing is when you leave the cave, you find other people who have left. And it's like you find your
Yeah.
tribe. And they're like, oh, you left the cave too? It's like, yeah, I was like claustrophobic.
Yeah,
I was
it's
scared.
ugly
They're
in
like,
there.
yeah, it fucking sucks, dude. You ever seen that before? You're like, what's that? You're like, that's the sun. You're like, oh, this is badass. And they're like, you're welcome, welcome, welcome home. Right? So it's like, I don't think it's bad. But Dr. Rose, I've kept you for an hour and a half. I said we wrap this up. Um,
All right, one more thing
yeah,
before
yeah,
we
yeah,
go.
no, yeah, sure, no, yeah.
Everybody needs to watch the episode of Star Trek Voyager about the fear. There's this, I think it might even be called the fear, or the something, I don't know. Anyway, it's just to summarize, there's this gosh, is he an alien? I'll just say he's an alien. And he constructs this realm. It's kind of like a semi-conscious realm where people, when they're in a certain state of consciousness, will be projected into. And he uses fear. He finds out what you're personally afraid of and then uses it against you to keep you in a state of oppression. And people in the episode had even died from being so afraid. So ultimately at the end, I won't give the ending away because it's very powerful. Um, it is defeated as fear itself,
Mm,
um, by being acknowledged and then not being feared. So anyway, I don't know if that was a good summary, but everyone should watch that episode. It's kind of weird because it has like kind of Jim Henson puppets in it, but but it's really good and it kind of yeah, it's very uh um resonant of what we're speaking about today. So this was an incredible chat. You
this is
always make
awesome.
and and the next time we chat, let's do it on your roof,
Oh yeah, no,
your
yeah, we will.
balcony.
Yeah, no, that'll be awesome. Be absolutely awesome. No, I'd love to. I needed this. This was therapeutic for myself. Thank you. It's
Oh, me too. Me too. It's
this
like
was great. I needed this.
chatting
So
around the world. Like it's funny because we spent the whole time like, saying we
shitting
need to
on
have,
it.
but
Yeah, no,
but again, we also said that we have to exploit for our own good the benefits as well because it's not evil. It's what you do with it. So
correct.
it's
It's
we used it for good, and we both we both benefited. So yay.
but even this, it's like this shouldn't be like some like superlative moment. Like, no, this is all you should be using it for.
Yeah.
It's like if this isn't the norm, like sure, there's other things like checking the weather or you getting directions, but like no, it should be like you use the thing for a good thing. Otherwise, like don't fucking use it. Like you should have great connections with
And don't
people.
use it to check the weather. Go outside.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, fuck all of that. Yeah,
Don't use it to navigate in your car. You're just gonna have a crash. Look at
yeah. No, that's a
road
good
signs.
point. Yeah, no,
Use
if
your
it
intuition. We all have inside maps.
if it's not like beneficial, if the tool is not beneficial, like if you're not having a positive experience like this, like don't use it at all. I think that's maybe a good like, kind of marker. It's like, was it a notably positive experience? No? Well, then don't do that again. Just don't do that again, right? I think that's the move. Yeah. Well, Dr. Rose, thank you. This was therapeutic for me. This was very beneficial. I hope it was
Me
beneficial to
too.
you and to others. Um, guys, you can go to the description. You can follow Dr. Rose on Twitter. You can go to her Substack and all that other shit. And yeah, I look forward to the next one. Thank you so much, Dr. Rose.
Me too. And call me Jess for Christ's
Jess.
sake.
Well, the first time I called you Jess, you corrected me. You
I
said Doctor.
know, but never mind.
No, you don't start. Don't
That
start.
was when
You
I thought I needed
yeah,
to have credentials, but I guess
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
That's back when I yeah, what a wild trip it's been. Yeah, that's back when yeah, titles mattered. It's like Yeah, this is we
Exactly.
really are flying off the
Most
deep end.
unofficial human being on the planet now.
Yeah,
So who
yeah,
knows?
don't, yeah, fuck it. You can, yeah, yeah. All right, Jess. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to the next one, and yeah, I hope everyone listening got something out of this. So, fuck yeah.
Me too.
All right, Jess. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.